What's going on, guys? It's your guy Professor O coming through with a dose of that good yolk. I'm everywhere like broken glass and around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. Today I want to talk about how to write this. Give me 1 second, don't beat me up. Love is not for the cowards. Now, such a beautiful thing. Now, I want to go through different experiences of love. Now, please let me do a little disclaimer, right? First and foremost, this is just off my personal experience. This isn't something I read in the book. This isn't something I heard on YouTube. This isn't something that I got outside, I experienced this personally, and this is my opinion on it. Now, everybody has a different opinion towards it, and that's fine and that's cool. You do not have to watch this at all. You don't have to watch any of my videos, to be honest with you. I usually just make this me for me because I just love looking at myself because I'm sexy. Can you dig it? Yeah, I think you can. So there's a quick disclaimer right there. So what I want to talk about is love is not for cowards. Now, there's different forms of love. Now, the love that I'm speaking about is that young love. I'm sure you've experienced young love before. It may have been, relationships. How can I say it? Right? Pretty much just a relationship. I don't know any other better term. Like a bond of, romance, right? That would be the term. Romance. Horrific. And when you experience these things, you learn it. It feels good. Oh my gosh, I like her. She likes me. Oh my gosh, this not there. We're calling each other on the phone, falling asleep, phone, this not there. What you wearing, girl? Sex and so forth. Yada yada yada. The child stuff, like the kid stuff, right? How do I write this? Because there's a whole point to what I want to get to it. And the reason why I say it's not for cowards because those are more so the beginning stages of any type of relationship that you're dealing with romance. You know what I mean? You can't get enough of each other. I believe they call it golden ages, whatever the case may be. And remember the title of it is called Love is Not for Cowards. And I'm going to lead into that because it's not the beginning that's the interesting part. It's the ending and how these things end. Let's just say, right, because, I actually know very few couples, but I actually know some couples that been dating since they was in middle school. And they ended up getting married. I was like, well, what type of cartoon shit is that? It's crazy, but it exists and it does, and congrats to them. Very, very cool. But what I want to talk about is how it can be the interesting thing about when you get hurt, right? Now, this is when I say it's not for cowards, because at the end of the day, when people get hurt and then they start to, they feel it, because at the end of the day, when you're a kid, you got to realize you're not actually in love. You're in infatuation, and you're experiencing something new. You know what I mean? You're young, your hormones are raging. You don't understand, the maturity of the aspect of a relationship. You know what I mean? You're learning. That's the whole point of the relationship in teenage years of that, etc. so forth. But what I'm here to say is that when I say it's not for cowards, it's because when you're dealing with individuals who now haven't grown from that teenage perspective and to understand what love is, because love is like what's going to happen, right? When you're in a relationship and you have a plan on getting married, things like that. And I speak about this very fervently because you want to be able to have discernment and understanding. And I've met a lot of people that when they're entering in new relationships, even when it's platonic, it's not even romantic, they're still carrying battle scars and battle wounds to a platonic companionship. And that's just because that you learn from the burns, and that's because that love had burned them so hard to the point where now they're not even able to recuperate something that's platonic or something that's just a standard friendship as that. Their trust has been burned so deep. And it's interesting, this is why I say it's not for cowards, because at the same time, it takes bravery and courage to continue to love and even have an optimistic perspective towards it after you've been hurt many a time. But what I'm here to say is that that's the human version of love. Now, when your love gets to a point of development where now it starts to mirror the God form of love, which is an understanding. See, when you're dealing with the low-tier version of love, it becomes an infatuation, possession, obsession, etc., so forth. And now it's no longer about the betterment of the other party. It's more so about now how can this other party fit into my perspective of what love is. And now I speak very sensitive about the situation because love is a very formless, opinionated topic that everyone has a different form of love. And I mean that, like, literally, some people unfortunately has a warped form of love, and there's others that share it, so it can't really be warped, because if there's others that share it as well, then that means I guess it's just a whole bunch of warped mental retarded motherfuckers, right? Excuse my language. I'm working on my diction. I'm a work in development, work in progress as well. Can you walk with me? I think you can. All right, we cool and good and sexy. Look at me now. Let's get back on topic. So, very warped. And now when you're dealing with situations like that and you're dealing with people like that, you got to realize they're still carrying, again, that shoulder boulder. And I want to kind of fit this in. Realize all of my messages that I've ever been saying will always be connected to doing the inner work. All about going inside, do the inner work, reflect on who you are, see who you are, let that light turn on inside you. And when the light turns on, pick up that dustpan, pick up that broom and clean and refine and do it in the inside. Because once you do it on the inside, you'll be able to comprehend the outside. Simple as that. And things won't be personal no more, it'll be general. And when things are general, then you won't be attached to it. And if you're not attached to it, you won't take ownership and responsibility for something that has nothing to do with you. Your perspective will remain neutral while you will be able to gain a complete, well-rounded perspective. I digress. So when you're dealing with individuals who have a warped form of love, and they like to project their own insecurities of that warpedness onto you, it's a lot of, first and foremost, there's a lot of individuals and people out there that do not heal from their past loves. Unfortunately, love is a beautiful catalyst of turning that light on. Because once that light turns on, because you'll realize, you'll see exactly who you are, because you'll start to project what you want onto others. But when that light turns on, it's kind of like, it's like, yo, this light is turning on, but now I don't see myself, I see the other individual. And this is like, it becomes very scary in these individuals. Like, I've watched this. This is what I've seen, at least that's what I was able to perceive in other people when I'm watching them in their relationship status, etc., so forth. Now, this is when I was at a point in time where I haven't been in a relationship in a while. So now I'm able to, I'm able to observe it without having any type of bias to it, because it took me some time, but I wanted to heal myself and continue on my path of healing, even though I'm not really dealing with, romantic love, etc., so forth. Hold up. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. Now, you see somebody out there. Speaking of somebody talking kindly of me because I'm sexy, because I sneeze once, right? Look at that tradition to him, right? Whatever, I digress. So, you're dealing with individuals where now they haven't healed. And now when they haven't healed, and when you're dealing with people that are dealing with love and they haven't healed and they projected their own insecurities on the others because they want that void to be filled, they carry that with them. And then now here's the point. Now let's say the breakup happens. What happens during a breakup? Few things really, but let's kind of slim it down to a few. It's either or. Either you're going to focus on yourself, or you're going to focus on someone else. But the void will be filled. Simple as that. Because there's something missing. And again, I say that this is only from the point in time where now you was loving incorrectly. And when I say that you were loving incorrectly, that means you were loving to a point where, first and foremost, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. Simple as that. Why? Because you're going to overly pour onto the other individual to the point where now you can't love them properly because you don't love yourself. And being that you can't love them properly, now your perspective will be warped to looking at that individual as a possession, an obsession, instead of looking at it as what it is. It was I don't know who written this, but it was a quote, a saying. It said, "I love the flower so much that I didn't pick it." And that's such a beautiful, simple statement that holds so much weight. Because again, it's acceptance, and that's like a God form of love right there. That's unconditional love. That's respect involved in it. You see, you realize you're dealing with individuals who are so hurt and so broken to the point where now they become obsessed with the traits that you have because it feels like it'll complement what they're missing. And That's not the case at all. It can never complement anything that you're missing. That doesn't make sense at all. I can't complement something that's absent within you. I can only complement something that's present in you. So now you're looking for something that's in me to fill in you. And that doesn't work. That's not logical. That's very, 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 very unstable. But now for the individual, what they need to do is turn the light on inside and gain and refine those traits, because everybody has these traits. It's just they don't put attention towards them. And being that you don't put attention towards them inside of you, you look outside for someone else to have them and for them to complement what you have already. But again, a lot of people don't want to put in that inner work, because again, once the light turns on, it's not the aha eureka moment. The light turns on, you see exactly for what you are and what you're missing and what you've been filling in that gap for what you've been missing. It can be a lot of traits that you're not even proud of. Realize people, like example, people will always be like, yo, I'm not even patient. I'm so impatient. That's nonsense. You have patience, you just don't practice it. In certain situations, when the time to emit patience or to put patience up to the forefront, you don't do that. What you do is react to your usual comfortable sense. And that's the point right there. People want to be comfortable and still get something new, but you can't gain anything new out of not being comfortable. Comfortable doesn't progress. You have to be uncomfortable to be able to gain something new. That's how the newness is able to come in, and you can refine from that newness. Simple as that. So now when you're dealing with individuals that are seeking out for something that's already within, it would never be able to be progressive. It would never be able to be presentable. It's just impossible to that situation. But what you can do will be such a beautiful situation is that when you start to when you're looking inside, and when you're starting to see everything from the inside for what you have, you can say, all right, I have love, I have peace, I have joy, I have steadfastness. These are traits of the spirit. And if you have these things, what you do, how would you be able to project this onto others? Well, first and foremost, you can't project something you don't have. And being that you already have it, it just hasn't been practiced yet. So practice it. Practice the traits. And remember, it's all about signals and frequencies here. So now if you're able to emit that signal and frequency, which is something that you've worked on personally, then you'll be able to track what you desire. But you can't seek out for something that you don't have in you. And it's not something that you don't have in you. It just isn't currently present because it isn't practiced. And that's all. And then now you start to see a lot of others and start individuals who don't want to do that. They want to project their own insecurities onto others and feel like those insecurities will be void because someone else is out there that can fill in that void. God didn't put you on this planet imperfect. He put you on this planet perfectly as you are. So now you're able to master who you are so you can gain that God level perfection. Simple as that. And that God level perfection involved in this situation will be love. And what is love? What's God's love? See, God's love isn't a form of action necessarily. It's an understanding. And that's just only at my point of development. Maybe it'll probably come full circle where I could say it is an action, then I can actually expound more further onto it. But at my point of development and where I've been growing, I understand that it is an understanding. And that's where God's love is unconditional, because whether you mess up today, do good, perfect tomorrow, or fall short on the next day, God loves you equally, no matter on any of those days. And now I had to realize, all right, that's what grace really meant, because grace is everything that's already been provided for. So now as God showed me grace, it also says I should show likewise onto others. And that's giving others the space to be able to find their groove and find their growth. Now in this situation, now I realize, again, remember, this is a transformation from young love to having an overall understanding of what love is. And then now, remember, we will receive these things from different individuals in our life, whether it be family, friends, companions, whatever the case may be. You'll learn that and you'll understand and you'll get more of a point to it. But what I'm here to say is that it has to come to a point in time where now, all right, if you're, and I'm going off grid right now, right? I've written down the points, as you know, right? Who writes script? Your boy do. So don't beat me up. Let's get to the points that I've written so we can stay on the topic and I can land this thing. Because at the same time, I've been very long-winded, especially on topics that I'm very, very interested in, etc. So forth. I digress. Let's get to it. I like that. I'll get to it. Now, see, there's love from the spirit and then there's love from the flesh. Now, when you're dealing with either or of the situations, that realize love from the spirit is patience, joy, steadfastness, long suffering, etc. So forth. That's what the Bible speaks, and it's very true. And then you're dealing with love of the flesh, where it deals with possession, obsession, and it becomes very, it's emotionally bound and emotionally circumstantial. It's not about acceptance, it's about give and take. Now, what you do for me is what I do for you. Remember, I did this, that, and the third. It's about, you know what I mean? Like you're looking to be reciprocated instead of complimented. And that's what I feel like that's a lot of what a lot of individuals fall short in, is because at the end of the day, they're not complimenting their significant other. They're looking for some form of reciprocation when at the end of the day, no one owes you nothing. Simple as that. You got to pour into your own as God is given to you for you to be able to provide, and God will make sure you can get these things by just providing to it. But if you're seeking something that you're not even giving yourself, how can you expect someone outside to be able to give it to you? That doesn't make sense at all. But I digress. Just like you don't have to watch these videos, but you are here, and I appreciate the audience. But I digress. Right? Because it's such a, man. And I'm going to change the title of it because I can't even speak about love, etc. so forth. Right? Because everyone has a different opinion. I'm going to go off grid with this now because now I'm getting a revelation myself. I can't really speak too much on it. Especially, all I have to talk about is the God kind of love, because at the end of the day, that's what everyone has a simple form of understanding to it, that is unconditional. But our job here is to mirror that the best way possible, the very best way possible. And the only reason why it's impossible for others to do it, because now they're starting to project their own mentality into it when it's not about you. It's not about you at all, And I'm gonna end it right here because now, but I'm still gonna post this video because now I'm getting more of a revelation, because as you read it, as you speak it, even sometimes, but you get more revelation as you speak it, because now you're hearing yourself and you hear how it's coming out, and then it's coming through a little bit more. It's flowing, it's going, it's glowing. You know how you do it. It's because I'm just so sexy and I'm getting this understanding even more. So I'm gonna end it right here, but I want to kind of end it on the point where now, so it can actually make sense, because it's like, I went all over the place right now. So let's make it real rounded and just come back to a good single point. Where now, love is not for cowards, because it takes bravery to be able to even participate in that union. It's where logic doesn't make sense. It's where it doesn't matter how logical you are. It doesn't matter how much of a mathematician you are, or how much of your perspective is so linear, whatever the case may be, and very straightforward. It doesn't matter. Everyone is susceptible to that affection, to the point where now you'll even participate in little things, etc. so forth. That isn't logical at all. So it's a very beautiful thing. But what I'm here to say is that after those situations may not work out in your favor or to your expectation, and now you're dealing with the pain, the hurt, the frustration, the disappointment, the beautiful part after that is because now you've been given. Imagine love as being a light that has shown you everywhere you were weak at internally. It showed you everywhere you were weak. You poured in this avenue and you shouldn't have to, because it hasn't been poured into yourself. That was something you're supposed to pour into you. Vice versa, and etc. so forth. It shows where you're weak at, and it shows where you're able to show the light. All right, I need to strengthen this up. And this form of love I'm not talking about is strictly romantic. It can be familial, platonic, dealing with family, friends, and also companionship. So when you learn, because again, people don't understand that a heartbreak it doesn't have to actually be in a romance relationship. A heartbreak could come from your family, and it could come from your friends. It's different forms of heartbreaks. It's different forms of disappointment, and I digress. But what I'm here to say is that it shows a light on where you're weak at and where it needs to be strengthened. And why I say it's not for cowards, because a lot of people don't recover well from it. But what I'm here to say is that do the inner work and recover from it, and watch how strong the love that you carry will be after it's been refined, after you've grown from it. Now it broke through the concrete. You know, it's such a beautiful experience, and then it makes you more relatable to the situation and more understanding when you see others that are at a level where you say, oh, all right, I understand where you're at right now. You currently didn't go through it, or you currently didn't accept the fact that you need to do your inner work towards that little avenue where love did the damage. Simple as that. And I digress, and I'm going to end it off right there. This message is for the adept out there, for the master, the proficient, the efficient, the expert, the one that's always doing it and never losing it, that's growing, that's glowing, that's going at all times. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. And remember, do good, speak good, see good, and then everything will be good, because it's all good. Can you dig it? And for the haters out there that love looking at your boy, make sure you look at my good side, because you know I'm sexy. Yeah, can you dig it? I think you can. Peace, love, and light. See you guys in the next video.